Pleasant good morning, good Monday morning to one and all. Welcome to the Monday's episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption, Incompetence. Welcome. Today is Monday, the 14th day of July, 2025. Welcome one and all. Share the live. I think we have a difficulty streaming on Facebook. I just got a notification from the platform that we have a difficulty streaming on Facebook. So right now it's only on YouTube. So tell those people, you would have noted, if you look at the comments, we don't have anyone here at this time from Facebook. That's because we are unable at this stage to stream on Facebook. And we were warning you all along to gravitate to YouTube. We tell you a lot of things can happen, in this silly season. A lot of things. We don't want to hear the credible and valuable information. So a lot. So right now, no Facebook. And I can see the broadcast, the stream is very, very low. So I don't know well you're hearing me. If you're hearing me well, just give us a thumbs up. Let us know that we're here. Today, again, another great day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. Let's give praise and thanks for being in the land of the living. It is a privilege to be in the land of the living, and we should not take that for granted. So share the live. The numbers are way down this morning. Apart from the Facebook, being unable to stream on Facebook, I suspect people are there, a lot of students, nomination day, so there's competition this morning. But share the live, and we are going to be with you with the roll call and the announcements. My colleague, Mr. Conway, CC, is already in the studio, ready to join us. Excuse me. Y'all excuse my voice this morning. I have a little cold, and as you can hear, the voice is a little husky, a little more husky than usual. So share the live, and let them know that we are on. Because I guess the people who would normally watch on Facebook are going to be concerned that they can't get the stream. Let me see what they're saying again here. The notification says we're having trouble streaming to Facebook. This may be an issue on Facebook, at Facebook end. It is possible the stream was ended or deleted on Facebook. So they knock it out. Something happened and we can't stream on Facebook. So that is why we're telling you to make sure gravitate to YouTube. Gravitate to YouTube. As I see this morning, the numbers are way down. Just about 400 at this time, something is wrong. About 400 at this time, something is definitely wrong. So, but we're going to persevere. We're going to keep at it. We're going to keep. So share the live and let them know. We have a lot to tell you this morning. Some breaking news came to hand a little while ago. And I think it's important that it be brought to attention. So, again, we have to adjust a little. But we are very flexible. We'll do that all the time. Now, in terms of the roll call, 7 o'clock on the dot, we were, the gates were open at 7. And the first man in Wayne, and this is Wayne Keston, I think is the first time you're there. Well, as I would say to you, many people would have coming at the same time, 7 o'clock. But this is how they are listed. We have, somebody said, yeah, right. Wayne, Ulrich, Gibbo, the Honorable Wayne from the UK, Kenneth from Maryland, Aubrey, Danny, Peter, Marcia, Claudius, Dexter, Jacko from Georgia, Carlton, then it was Moses, Earl, Roxanne, Lucius, Grantley, then it was Vibert, Ezzy. They all came at 7. And then shortly after we have John, Kerry-Ann, Paulette, Felicia, Junior, Joan, Orin, Warren, Clifton from Paris, Courtney, Clifton, the other Clifton, Pastor Smith, Anthony Bradshaw, Peters Hall in the East Bank of Demerara, Barbara, Brian, Marvin, Rhonda, Orion from the UK, Clifton, Desiree, Patricia, Paulette, Sean from upstate, Bonita, Lynette from the UK, Sandra, Carol, Aileen, Derek, Marlon is here, Esla, Vashti, Evelyn, the angel is with us, Aubrey, Vibort, this is the next Vibort, Abera, Paulette, Denise, Ivor, David, Siobhan, Compton, Sandra, Kevin, Melbourne, Randolph, Melinda, Ivor, Carl, Clarence, Uncle Paul, Winston from California. Heather is here with us, right? And Heather says, today is reminding us it's nomination day. Let's align our ducks and vote for justice for Adriana Young, the Henry Boys, inequality, injustice, and all other socioeconomic ills plaguing Guyana. Yes, we will. Gavin, then it was Sydney, Brenda, True Guyanese, Francis Kidd from Melanie Damashana. Francis, I hope you were able to listen to that Sparrow song that I recommended. Anthony, George, Cecile, Neville, and this is Neville. Neville, I remember you, yes, Neville. We worked together in the 70s, mid-70s at Sparna Police Station. I remember you, Neville. Diane, Isla, Dwayne, Ashley, Puran from the Essequibo Coast, Malvok, Wilbont, Marva, Michael from Mbai Madai, Selwyn, Denise, the secretary. Then it was Richard, Dennis, Lennox, then Jermaine, Dion, Martin, Pomela, West Dem girl is in the house. Jakey is here. David, Harold, Ovid, Leon, Umi is here. Terence from all the way from Canada. Michael, Michelle, Tessa, Diane, Rayburn, Princess Or, Lama Spring. Simo is here. Hazel, Allison, my squad mate Gaston from Canada. Smithy is here. Vibord Smith is here with us. Patricia, Rosalind, Magnell. Then it was Father Masha, Shalon, Russ, Michael Brower, Donald, Forgus, Emerson, Malcolm, Allison, Sharon, Kurt, Cloyd, Annette, Gordon, Ope is here. Marcel, Winslow. Then it was Queenie, Ricky Smith, Benji from Myconi, Marcus, Valerie, Maureen, Siobhan, Raquel is here with us. Then Marcus, Tuana, Arena, Yvette, Mark, then Clyde, Rastaman, Kerry, welcome. Colin, Joy, Royston, Roderick, Ewald, Elton, Mary, Boo, Alexander is here. Carl, my squad mate from Arizona. Pito is here. Kay, Clive from the UK. Clive said that cricket wrong, man. They're in London watching the match between England. That exciting match, England and India. Good that you're there. We're watching it on TV. I have my iPad alongside there and I'm glancing on again to see what is going on. Terence is here. Joseph, Sheena, Farina. Then it was George, Donna. Then Enric, Mark, Asini, John, Caesar, Nigel, Alwyn, Paul, Patricia, Sean, Leroy, Cedric, Dion, Winston, Christy is here. Aubrey, and this is Aubrey Bob, Molly, Cranston, Mike, Junior, Ralph, Lester, Dorette, Doreen, my squad mate, Sandrine Baird is here. Margot, Paulette. Then it was Lorraine. Lorraine said, thanking all of you for these birthday greetings. Lorraine is here with us. Then it was Jam. Another Lorraine is in the house. Delan, Doris, Sabrina, Cecile, Semp is here. The Calypso man. Semp is here with us. Mark, Reggie, Norbert. Then it was Barbara, David, Joseph, Salima, Colin, June, Simone, Michael, then Ingrid, Claudius, then Angela, Doreen, Monica, Conrad, Isabella, Lambert, then who else is here? Carton, And the list goes on and on and on. That was the last, I think that was the last person. As I told you, no Facebook today. So we are unable to stream on Facebook. I want you to call the people who are usually on Facebook to advise them that Facebook is not allowing us to stream today. It is not allowing us. I don't know what is the problem. However, we are not going to be able to resolve it before the well, maybe they will resolve it during the show, but that is what we have. And again, I said to you, that is why we have been encouraging you to subscribe to the channel on YouTube, hit the notification button, and then you're going to get the notification when we go live, right? Somebody said, well, it shouldn't be, yes, Bartlett. It's lots of live streaming going on today. So I guess that is one of the reasons the numbers are going to be down. But the concerning thing is that not at all, no streaming is taking place of this program on Facebook. None at all, right? None at all, right? So that is what we have. So let me give you the announcements. The announcements, I know we said we would start with the sad ones first. And so here we go. We told you about some deaths we have in the police family. We did tell you about the death. Well, first of all, before I go, just to remind you, today is 486 days since Sergeant Alex Vaughn was shot and killed by, they say, one of his colleagues. And 486 days after, right, apart from the initial release by the police, the public, the family have not heard anything. These are the people who speak about transparency. Nothing at all they have more. Nothing, right? So well, that is what it is, right? That is how they operate. We told you too about the death of Charlie, former Corporal Leroy Charles, police. Then he went to audit office. Then he was with Ministry of Health, and he migrated. And he was a prominent feature and a fixture at the Ex-Police Association of USA, where at one time he was the president. And that. Well, we know we announced on the last show on Friday that he passed, and we have some arrangement. I have some information here in relation to the funeral. They said the Sunday coming, that Sunday the 20th, there will be a funeral service and viewing in Brooklyn, Caribe Funeral Home. That is on 1922, I think it is, Utica Avenue. And the viewing is from 2 to 4, and the service is from 4 to 6. He is going to be buried in Guyana. So the funeral service in Guyana will be on the 26th of July, and it will be at the Congregation Church, Better Hope, East Coast Demerara. And then he's going to be interred at the Good Forwarding Cemetery. That is on the 26th. So on the 20th, this is this coming Sunday, there will be a funeral service and viewing for Charlie at the funeral home on Caribe Funeral Home, 1922 Utica Avenue, right? And then the body goes to Ghana to be buried the following Sunday. So that is the announcements that we have for you at this time. Let me see if there's any other. Well, of course, death stalks the land, you know. Death stalks the land. We are hearing about a double murder. Some man stabbed 2 people and killed them. We are, Friday we were telling you about a man died at the construction site at Vive la Force, West Dem. Now we're in one again, a Sparta foreman from Sparta on the Ezekiel coast, crushed to death by an excavator. Death stalks the land, and that is why we continue to ask you to be extremely careful. Death stalks the land, right? You got to be extremely careful. In terms of birthdays, today's the birthday of a student who is here. I got the word. Sheena Hazel is observing a natal day today. And today is also the birthday of the crime chief, assistant commissioner or deputy commissioner Wendell Blanham. Today is his birthday, and today is Sheena Hazel's birthday. I have something to talk about Blanham. Let her tune in. I want in the morning. I got something more to say about him late in the program. We have something more to say about him. So tune in, right? And as I said, I hope y'all did the homework and look for that tune, right? Look for that tune. So Francis is saying he never heard the song before since he done the late stay, right? So a lot of people call and said they never heard it. It was never that popular. If you're a Calypsonian, or if you like Calypso like me, then you know all of these things. You know what Zanduli and you know all of these things. A man met me yesterday, was telling me, he listened to me, a student, and he had to go and research Zanduli, right? The Iron Man. And he always said, man, look, the thing was he had him laughing all the while, right? So we had that. And in terms of belated birthday greetings, we did, on Friday we said that retired Assistant Commissioner Stanley Fraser would have observing his birthday, observe his birthday on the 12th, right? But I learned it was the same day that we were announcing that he was observing his birthday. And somebody even reminded me that his regulation number was 7210, retired Assistant Commissioner Stanley Fraser. Then we have a belated birthday greeting for Lewis, Ian Lewis. Ian was one of the men who went to me in Namibia. He was one of the Guyana contingent to Namibia. He celebrated, I think it was yesterday. We have, I don't know if he's Inspector or Chief Inspector, Moses, who used to be at the Armory at the TSU. Handel Moses, I think is his correct name. And we also had the birthday recently of Rodwell Henry. Rodwell used to be at the finance in Borbies, B Division when I was there, the headquarters. Rodwell, very competent, reliable, and honest individual. So he celebrated recently. And we have some upcoming birthdays. Tomorrow, the former president, retired Brigadier General David Granger, will be observing a natal day tomorrow. And also a former trainee of mine, Robert Gates, is going to be observing a birthday. When I was a young instructor, they would remember me there as a drill instructor. He was part of the squad. They are observing. So, birthday greetings to all those who are celebrating today, all who celebrated recently, and all who are celebrating in the near future. One of the students just reminded me about the cricket to say that they gone to tea and they say what they need like 30 runs and the 30 runs. So we got to talk something about the cricket, but let me bring Mr. Conway first for his own opening greetings, then we're going to come back. CC, welcome. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. Welcome to the program.
Yes, happy to be in the land of the living. Praise the Lord. We can do God's work. I want to shout out to some people. I went to the funeral for that sergeant and that Sandy's. I met a whole set of wonderful women, particularly those police women, those from Lamaha Spring and elsewhere. And then during the afternoon, one of the students tackled me. You get some hell of some students. Remember, I mentioned that when I was a sergeant at Tikiriku, I got a letter from my wife that I became a father. And I jumped on a plane and I ended up at Leg One where she was staying. And I reported that my mother-in-law said, "Bro, take out your socks." I reluctantly took off my socks and she carried me to where the baby was, my daughter, and said, look this picnic too, and look you too. And the same kind of toes. Look, she get all the toes. I reported that. And then this man asked me, them children where you get, did you check the toes and see if they get you toes? Or then grand picked where you check the toes and see if they get toes? So I told him that the Conways got strong genes, and the genes don't hide. And even if we flash outside the house, or we nibble outside the house and get caught, the genes will be there. So them things don't lie, We have strong genes and we don't doubt certain things.
Yeah, strong genes. But as I said, again, you will note that he sit down with the ladies that met him and so on. The ladies that met him, he's a ladies' man. Not in the sense of being cavalier and being around the place, but the people will meet you and they will greet you and all this. Many ladies met me yesterday and they greeted me over the program, and some have not seen me. And the thing is that when they meet you, they tell you, well, they look at the program, but they are pleased to meet you in the flesh. So yeah, that is what we happen. Now coming back to the cricket. We have this match going on in England, rail test cricket. That is what test cricket is all about. I think India need 30 runs, the last spear in the wicket, Jadeja got to do it. He has to be the man to do it. But I believe that India played themselves into this rut. I think they were ultra cautious, right? You want two good ball, yes, but you know when you go in there and you just decide when you only have 180 something runs and you get 1 day plus, they played too cautiously, and there's a problem. There's a problem. I don't expect them to be able to score the next 30 runs with only the last wicket in Siraj and Jadeja. You got to beat Jadeja alone, and it takes one ball to Siraj. And if Jadeja becomes too aggressive, one error of judgment, and that is going to be it. Now, talking about the West Indies, Sean, there's not cricket they're playing there. 2 days, and the match can done. I believe the match can done today, right? Because I don't know, I never played cricket at that level. I was privileged to be traveling with the West Indies team, and I was privileged to see a lot of international cricket from a good vantage point. I think I know something about the game. I've been around long. I saw my first test match as a little boy in 1968 at Border, West Indies versus England, Gary Sobers and Kanai and all these people. I saw them. I was able to see those people back in the day. So they're around long. I'm watching test cricket long. So I think I know something about the game. I did training as an umpire, right? Same time we started with Eddie Nichols, the former international umpire. We started together at Critchlow, not Critchlow, at St. Stanislaus. Critchlow was one of the teachers, Vivi, umpire Vivos, and these people. All right. I saw yesterday John Campbell get out LBW. And I want to know around to these people. Bowler and a right-hand bowler, and the cricketers here got know what talking about. A right-hand bowler bowling to a left-hand batsman around the wicket. The right-hand bowler goes around the wicket, and the man padding up. A right-hand bowler bowling to a left-hand batsman. The right-hand bowler is bowling around the wicket, and you padding up. The cricketers here will understand what I'm talking about, because the angle from around the wicket tends to take the ball straight into the wicket. You can't take the chance to pad up. You have got to play the ball, and if you're playing, then chances are you will get away with it. But once you pad up, you know whether you're struck outside or not. If you're playing, then you have to be struck between wicket and wicket, right? If you are not playing, if you're struck outside, once the ball would have hit the stump you out, and the man pad up, looking good, you see the ball raise up, you bat looking good, LBW, and then you want to know what happens. So, what them chaps playing is not cricket, man. They got the bowlers doing an outstanding work. Outstanding work the bowlers are doing. But then the batsmen can't bat 2 sessions and 3 sessions. So I anticipate that West Indies likely to bowl in Australia out maybe before lunch, and between lunch and the close of play, that will be it. That will be it. I mean, I will hope as a West Indian it is not so, but you got to be realistic. You have to be realistic, right? Some of the things that I see they're doing, I don't know where they learn the cricket. Apparently, they get a little talent, but they don't know no cricket sense. Because again, I say a right-hand bowler, even as an umpire, they will tell you, you train certain things. The right-hand bowler goes around the wicket to a left-hander, you know the angle. If he goes around the wicket to a right-hander, you know the angle. And basically, they tell you go around the wicket, the right-hand bowler goes around the wicket to a right-hand batsman. If the ball pitches on the stump, chances are with the angle, the ball can beat the off stump, unless it shows that it's straightening. If he knock it plump on the stump, chances are it pitch outside the leg stump. All of these things are factors that I learned. And as I know big international umpire, me no big cricket, and to see an international player padding up to a bowler bowling around the wicket, I said them chap should be playing Litty or something like that. Man. Let me bring in CC, man. Because CC used to play, he played in my officer's team. You all played together. CC, your comment on the cricket, man.
You're so correct, you know. And then when you look at it, let me get batsmen there. I remember years ago, Michael Olin said there's no strength on the bench. The bench nigga strength. And then Richard said one time, the lights are on, but nobody going to the party. The lights are on and nobody going to the party. And I remember Brian Lara used to make a whole set of runs, but you gotta wait the storm. I remember Australia came here and played series 5 test matches, and all 5 test matches, Lara was 12 man. He had to wait the time, but now they're just plucking up people and put them in thing. Man playing test match and then score again and get first class century and these kind of thing, you know. The cricket is poor, and we're saying there's no strength on the bench. And like you, Paul, I witnessed my first test match, same year like you, but I had the rails. I've been in the sun. I take the sun and I watch the cricket.
I been in rails too. Them days I come from school, I can't afford for go no understand. I was in rails across. Both of us were in the same stand. I was in rails. You try to get under one of them tree, and you watch your cricket from rails, right? They call them out the bleachers and all that. I watch your cricket from rails too. Now let me move on, man. Let me share the live again. We still don't get Facebook. People messaging me. We still have not been able. It has nothing to do with us. The platform indicated that they are unable to stream us on. We are having trouble streaming on Facebook. This will be an issue on Facebook end. That is what they're telling me. So it's just YouTube. And again, we have over 1,000 students on YouTube. That is why I've been encouraging you to gravitate to YouTube. But we're going to continue. Let me move on, man. Let me move on. People complimented me on the song, Sparrow song. They never listened to. They said some people said they never heard that song from Sparrow since it done the light stay. I didn't mean to be so slick, but as you move so quick, it slipped. And I'm feeling so nice and warm. Any port is for a storm. Call him so. Now let me tell you. You know today is nomination day. Let me go to the serious issues now. Today is nomination day, the day when the parties who are contesting the September 1st regional and general elections will submit the list of candidates. Even the order of submissions add controversy. Because following the rally, the coalition rally on Sunday, they move and they camp out. Because I think they understand is a force come, force serve. So they move and they camp out there. Then we learned sometime last week that G comes saying, this is not a force come for something. They will decide the order in which the presentations will be made. Of course, people protested that. AFC and other parties and some smaller parties protested that. So I think today the APNU, AFC are the ones. APNU the ones who are presenting for us. I think it's going on right now. They say up to 2 o'clock or something like that. So as we can see, the numbers are going to be down because a lot of people are going to be watching the nomination live. But I know we continue with it so that when they finish, they're going to listen to it later. So the nomination day is on. Yesterday, the PPP launched a campaign at Kitty Market Square, right? Big rally at Kitty Market Square, and photographs surface early in the day where buses line up. They bus people in. That's the normal mode of the PPP. Line up buses all over the place, bring people from all over. Forget a big crowd because they believe optics is important. And then the question came about crowd size. I saw one person post up a picture of APNU, a small gathering, and then another person, and then he put up another picture showing the PPP. So they're making a comparison. And it was he done Facebook. Garnish my Paul had to challenge him. Say, hey, that picture you post up is when the thing had just started and people had not gathered as yet. Right? You see, that is the disingenuous nature of some of these things, misleading. And I have been trained to estimate crowd. Crowd estimation is not an easy thing. You have got to be trained to know how to estimate crowd. I did it for years when I worked with cricket and all of that. First of all, let me give you all a little lesson, the police, because when you have these meetings and rallies, the police will send a message to say what was the size of the crowd. Normal policing. So when you see police do it, don't blame them. The normal thing once there's a political meeting, and you're going to have lots of political meetings or rallies, police there, the person in charge, they're going to be there. They have to make a note of all the speakers and what the speakers said. There is uniformed police, special branch gonna be there too. Who are the speakers and what the speakers said. They're also required to give an estimate of the size of the crowd. There's always a controversy over that because people don't know how to estimate crowd. Now, if it's in a venue, you go to cricket, you get a stadium, they get seating. So you know the stadium capacity is, let me say, 10,000, easy counting, 10,000. If it's full, you know it's 10,000. If it's bursting, you see some just over 10,000. You know, the easy. If it is not full, you can estimate whether it's full, whether it's three-quarter full, and you give a reasonable estimate as to what the size is, right? That is in a controlled environment with seating and all of that. Now, it is always difficult to estimate crowds that are not seated. When people jam pack, they jam in, they stand up and so on. Even when they're seated, if it is not, like, for example, you go to the grass mound at Providence, you have to know how to estimate. Because internationally, they have a formula for crowds that are not seated. How much square feet or so on per person. So you know the size of the area, and then you make an estimate, you do your calculations, you know how many people are likely to be there. Now, one of the things you got to always remember, and I'm coming to the thing now, I'm telling them, if you have a crowd in an open area, such as on a field, or let me say like Square the Revolution, it is more difficult to estimate than if you have, like they had yesterday, along a street. Because what you do, you don't estimate necessarily at the first glance the entire crowd. You try to get parcels. For example, along a street, you might get lampposts, right? So you might do a quick fancy count and say, well, between this lamppost and this lamppost, you have 300 people. And therefore, if you have 10 lampposts down, you multiply that by 300 by the 10, you get the idea. But when you are like at Square Revolution, it's not easy to estimate the size of the people there because those guidelines are not easily identifiable. So let me understand the common crowd. Of course, people can call all sorts of numbers and all that. But just to remember, I'm just giving you that to say that it is a science estimating crowd. So the people can call some people can tell they got 50,000 people at thing, you know. They just call all sorts of fantastic numbers. All sorts that nobody analyzes, right? So we can do the analysis and we can come and tell you. So I just wanted to let you know that estimating crowd kind of come and tell you, I see the flying drone and all of yeah, you get people along one street. They're going to stretch, of course, they're going to stretch. And how many deep you get. All of those things you have to consider. So don't let it come and give you those salawala, right? Don't let it come. It's part of the propaganda. You want to expect. That's what we tell you in this silly season. Come to Speaking Out, and we are going to dissect these things, and we're going to give you the information, right? All right, let me move on now to the same thing, same subject. Nomination day. One expect police, certain professional people are to be apolitical. Apolitical and mean that you're supporting a party. That is my interpretation. It means that you can't show that you are aligned to a particular political party. You can't show. Right? You can't show. Let me see. Dudley, my friend there from Jamaica, is saying, so true. Let me put it up like you all see. You see, when we are trained, so we understand these things. He's saying, so true, myself. I got training to estimate crowd in a scientific way as a safety officer for Cricket World Cup 2007. We all got the same training because my training in estimating crowd started in the same Cricket World Cup 2007. It started there too, Dudley. You were in Jamaica, I was in Guyana, right? Yeah, so I'm saying then, you can't. You're a police. You have a right to make sure that you have a constitutional right to support whatever party you want to support. But you can't do it openly. You can't do it openly. It is not proper for you to do it openly. You hold certain constitutional and other offices. You can't. You should not. You should not. It just should not happen. That is not to say that you're not supportive of one, You might even tell your family they know that who you're supportive of and all of that, but you can't. But look what happened yesterday. Let me show you all this one. This is, well, let me correct that, because there's no date stamp on this picture. You know, I'm got to be very careful. There's no date stamp on this picture to say that it was taken yesterday, right? So, but it was posted yesterday, giving the impression that it was taken yesterday at the PPP rally. This is Mansour Nadir. Belagaba said the former Speaker of the House, because Parliament is now, there's no Parliament, so there's no Speaker of the House. But he was the last Speaker of the House. Mansour Nadir. He is there. As I've said again, there's no evidence really to say that the picture was taken yesterday, because there's no date stamp on it. But on social media, they're saying that this picture was taken yesterday. But it could have been any other time. But the man wearing red shirt and clearly in a crowd with a lot of PPP supporters, because you see others wearing PPPC shirt and so on. And that is the problem you have. How can you then expect a person like him to be impartial? Reflecting on all the decisions, some of the decisions he made in Parliament, like banning the word corruption and so on. You see why? Because the man is not an impartial player, lacks professionalism. These people lack ethics and character to be doing something like that. I am not saying that Mansour Nadir, who was once the leader of the United Force, remember, all the folks will remember, Peter de Geer United Force, that collated with Forbes Bonham PNC to win the election in the 60s. The United Force. It was then United Force, UF. And then if my memory serves me correct, when Peter de Geer moved on, it was Marcellus Field and Singh, right? He was the man that took over the party. And then after Marcellus, I think is Nadir. And Nadir, when he took over, they changed the name from United Force to the United Force. So the man was the leader of a political party. He is now clearly where he's showing. Look is what going on. And then if you think that bad, if you think that is bad, look at this one. Look. This person here with Brother Jagdeo, I understand, is a policewoman. 19988 Johnson. She's a sergeant. This is a police sergeant. 19988 Johnson, in charge of East La Penitence Police Station. Let me repeat that. This person in this picture here is a woman, a current member of the Ghana Police Force. She holds the rank of sergeant, and she is in charge of the East La Penitence Police Station. And she's at the rally, dressed in PVP clothes, cap, cup. She posing with Jagdeo. I mean, even Jagdeo shot and get on the PVP logo, but she posing with Jagdeo. And the people tell me what makes this even more galling is the fact that the force, at least the division in which she is stationed, was supposed to be in line and stand by yesterday. But she got political connections, or she's supportive of the ruling party, so she can go to a rally. A serving policewoman, understand this. And don't forget, not so long ago, you had a police constable who shook the hands of Azuddin Mohammed when he came off the boat. He was transferred from Region 1 to Region 6, immediately transferred. That was a grave violation. And this policewoman, a sergeant in charge of East Penitence Police Station, can walk or can go to the PVP rally fully dressed. Well, maybe she's going to tell you the undercover. You know, Scott, with all sort of Salawala. She can say she was undercover. She was sussing out Jagdeo. And how can you expect people to respect the police force? How can you? Again, I say you have a right to back whatever party you want to back. But to be wearing a party color, your police wearing a party color at a political party rally? Let me tell you all this before bringing Mr. Conway. In 1992, election, where the 7 PPP came back to office, where they was telling about the return of democracy and so on. 5th of October 1992, I was in charge of the Tactical Services Unit, the TSU, the riot squad. They had some issues during the course of the afternoon, people claiming disenfranchisement in the Election Commission's office in Cruel Street at the time. And then they moved to Regent Street, and they started people started to behave righteous. I was the officer in charge of the TSU, 1992. I voted for the PNC as it was then. I voted with PNC. They said that most of the people who were behaving bad were PNC supporters. I, Paul Slow, along with the right unit, went out there and brought order back to the city. Not for them don't remember, not for them same champions of democracy. When I met with President Ali on the 16th of September 2020, he reminded me of that. So they got a lot of respect for me because of the professional action I took on Harlem Tower. He told me that. He told me that. The point I'm making, this part of who you vote for or who you like, when it comes to the job, you have to at least appear to be professional. And you can't be wearing party clothes and Harlem Tower. You can't be. You just can't. Or you just should not. Right? You just should not. But that's the problem you have. That is, and nothing is going to happen to her, Nobody going to even call her and tell her, say, well, you should not have done that. Nobody's going to ask her why she was at a rally when the force or the division was in line. Nobody is going to do that. But let me tell you, as I said, the little boy that shook Asudin Mohammedan, transfer immediately. Transfer immediately. But these are the type of actions that cause people to disrespect the police. And these things are manifested in all kind of fashion. It's not an easy thing. This is not a thing to be glossed over. So imagine she got to supervise some meeting or give permission for meeting and or not give permission necessarily to receive an application for a meeting at a particular place and their clashes. Who you think she's gonna go in favor of? You cannot be professional when you have this type of display. You cannot. You just cannot. Let me bring in Mr. Conway. CC, you saw that photograph. Your comments, man. You were a commander. Yeah. You were a commander for a number of years. You were a police. I think. Let me hear what you have to say about this.
Our conduct. We gotta be careful. Our conduct at political meeting. I spoke about 2 incidents when I was commander ENF division, and I repeat them for the sake of emphasis. PPP meeting at Linden on the Wisma Shore. Gadraj was the Home Affairs Minister. I was there, properly dressed in uniform. And he signaled me, he was in the front row. And I went on stage, walked to the back and got to the front row. Bent over, and he asked me to give me estimation of the crowd. And just like you, sometimes it's difficult really to estimate the crowd. So I give him a figure. And he said, oh, when a PPP hold a meeting, a small crowd. And when PNC hold a meeting, a big crowd. What is crowd? I said, well, the crowd is looking large, but they get a belly there. And he said, all right, and I quickly walk off the stage. About 2 days afterward, Larry Lewis called me to his office. And he said, explain this. He showed me a photograph with me bending over and talking to Gadraj. He said, explain this. And when I turned it over, there was something in writing saying, police commander on PPP stage. So I explained to the commissioner what happened. He said, okay, all right, go along your way. About a week afterward, there was another PPP political meeting at Anna Valley in Anai. And they had some problem with the mic. And Bishop Edgel was there. That's when he was sneaking in as a member of the PPP, sneaking there. And they had a problem with the mic. And he said, I'm Conway, Commander Conway, come see if you could fix this mic. And I told him, I said, hey, I ain't going for no PPP stage, and I ain't fixing no political mic. And I walk away because I learned from experience. And when you look at that sergeant there, it's ridiculous. But then we had in Barbies too, we had one with the police commander in Barbies. There's he fully dressed in uniform, and he bracing down somebody, a PPP supporter, and then it's on the PPP. Watch him there. Look him there. That is the police commander, the assistant commissioner of police, who they say get a degree from the University of Palmyra, Wisconsin. That is him there. And they had others who were sharing out um placards for the PPP. You got to be a political. You can't be engaged in these things here. You got to be very, very, very careful with what you do. So this is this is election time, and if you not be careful, you don't get tainted. People would may go away with the with the wrong impression, although you might have good intention, but you can't be shown out like how she showed there. No, 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 no way. And like how the Barbies commander there, this displaying thing there. You've got to be apolitical. Yes, is it that you're entitled to support party of your choice. But as a policeman or a policewoman, you can't come out blatantly and show that you think that. No way. It can't work, and it's not good for policing. You got to be politically neutral.
Yeah, but it's they say monkey see, monkey do. You can't remember. It was reported that Akin, sometime during last week, it is alleged that he went to the training environment there, telling the recruits them to vote for the PPP. The commissioner of police, the extended squatter, is doing that. The police radio Ivlery, at sometime a short while ago, James Bond, 00 Nat, license to lick Batty Bond, right? On the thing, talking politics, on the police radio, radio Ivlery, they call it. So how can people respect the police when these things are happening? And not only people who are anti-government, but even some government people who are right thinking can recognize this should not be. It should not be. And they're going to see nothing wrong with it, because all of them hustling for a place in the sun. All of them hustling for a place in the sun. And let me say further, there is no way, say what you want to say, there is no way something like that would have happened in any previous election campaign. None. No way. From 2020, go right back. I started to be involved in 1973. And all the years, you can't. You were told, you get instructions. You can't do that. You can't. I know of a story where it was alleged that a certain inspector went to the same Kitty Market Square. In them days was WPA rally. And he was there cheering on when WPA people were making certain statements, anti-government statements. He, an inspector in uniform, police inspector, reported, Special Bansi reported, pull over the coals, and last he walked. I mean, you're going to say dictatorship, you're going to say what you want to say, but it is wrong. Maybe the punishment would have been too harsh, but it is wrong. You can't do that. But you get police ranks doing that now at senior levels. So what do you expect the junior people to do? What do you expect the junior people to do? So when this woman in charge of a station, she is in charge of a police station, she is clearly showing her political allegiance. She is likely to have ranks below her who has all her political leanings. How you believe they're going to relate to she and react to she? You believe any respect can be shown or would be shown? That is part of the problem, that these myopic people, nearsighted, they can't see. Can't see, right? The question is asked by Bantu, who going to reprimand? That's the point. Nobody's going to reprimand her. Nobody's going to reprimand her. And the game is just over for those of you watching. Anticlimactic. The ball drop and just roll and dislodge the bail. So England has won, or England have won by some amount of runs there. A very innocuous ball from the spinner. It hit Shiraz on the thing. The ball dropped back and just trickle on and dislodge the bails. So that is the nature of cricket. That is the nature. So the distraction is over. The match is finished. And then we come to continue to talk about the serious issues. Now we have Commissioner of Police. He did it in 2020. where he campaigning in the police place, the PPP. Because they promise you, when they come into office, he can get the commissioner. He there now, he's still doing it. He's still doing it. And he must have authorized the use of radio evilry for PPP propaganda. He must have. And whether it's PPP or not, no political party should be on the police radio talking politics. None of them. Especially 00 not. Especially 00 not. But that is what you have. That is what you have. And people, they want to know why we are in the mess as a country, as a force, why they are so disrespected. Folks, the Facebook feed is still down. So call your other people and tell them, call your colleagues who are Facebookers, let them know, because they might suspect that, they might think that the program is not on, but it is on. But it's on YouTube. We get up to 1,500 viewers now. So call them and let them know, yes, the program is on, but it's on YouTube because we have a problem streaming on Facebook. Now, this morning, breaking news. Y'all share the live. Share the live. Y'all gonna want to hear this. Y'all gonna want to hear this. Well, I can't say devastating. I'm gonna use a correct adjective. This earth-shattering news. Share the live, and don't be selfish. I'm gonna give you all the time to share the live and let people know. Slow is supposed to, in a short moment, announce something that is really, really earth-shattering. Is really earth-shattering. Now, here it came out this morning. Breaking news. This is on social media. The source is a usually reliable source. It started off by saying, here what the source started off by saying, I love it when I'm proven not only correct, but when fools who didn't listen now beg. This is a source that had posted things before that people did not believe, and it turned out to be true, right? So he started out, or the source, I don't know if it's a he or a she, started out by saying, I love it when I'm proven not only correct, but when fools who didn't listen now beg. And here we go. Former Guyana custom officer who was terminated from the GRA, that is the Guyana Revenue Authority, under the APNU AFC government for corruption, was arrested at the JFK International Airport this morning, 13th of July, 2025, at 6:28 a.m. Let me read about. Hear how specific this information is? As I said, just tell you got to verify and all of that, but this is a usually reliable source. And the source is saying, former Guyana Customs officer who was terminated from the Guyana Revenue Authority under the APNU AFC government for corruption was arrested at JFK International Airport this morning, the 13th of July, 2025, at 6:28 a.m. Note, arrested, not detained, you know. I don't know if it can be used interchangeably, but when we talk about arrest, it's something different to being detained. So they said this person was arrested. It goes on. He said, the person said he traveled to New York from Chedijagana International Airport, Guyana, on board JetBlue flight number 1966, which departed Guyana on the 12th of July, 2025. He was arrested and taken to custody at gate 526, JFK, and is currently assisting Homeland Security and the FBI in an ongoing probe which involves a ranking current senior officers of the Guyana Police Force and 3 current government officials and some sanctioned Guyanese. He is currently in custody. That is the current information I have at this time. Then it goes on and says, Christmas and Santa Claus have come early for quite a lot of people. Also, I would like to inform the Guyana Police Force Commissioner, Mr. Ikins, that currently there is a senior rank of yours who holds a high position in the Guyana Police Force, currently has over 160 million Guyana dollars cash in his home. And I am just wondering, why is it SOCU have not swooped down and seized the money? Is it because senior people at Soku and this individual drink at Eve Leary Club, a bar on the west side, or a bar on Church Street. The mightiest in the Guyana Police Force is soon to fall. I think it's time for the Guyana Defense Force to take control of the Guyana Police Force. This is breaking news. It is being said, again, unverified, but it's been alleged, it's been claimed that a former Guyana Customs officer who was terminated under the previous administration, yesterday morning, July the 13th, 2025, at 6:28, specific information, he was arrested at JFK International Airport. The thing says that this person left Guyana on the 12th, because you know the night it left before midnight. It left on the 12th on a JetBlue flight, again specific, flight number 1966, right? Then he was arrested and taken to custody at gate 526, then be Terminal 5, right? JFK, and is currently assisting HSI, I guess there is Homeland Security, and the FBI in an ongoing, well, the UN, but it's ongoing probe which involves ranking current senior police officers of the Guyana Police Force and 3 current government officials and some sanctioned Guyanese. He is currently in custody. That is the current information I have at this time. Then he goes on to say, I would like to inform the Commissioner of Police, Mr. Ickens, that currently there is a senior rank of yours who holds a high position in the Guyana Police Force at over 160 million cash in his home. And I'm wondering, why is it Soku? And Soku is a special organized crime unit, have not swooped down and seized the money? Is it because senior people at Soku and this individual drink at Eve Leary Club, a bar on the west side, and a bar on Church Street? Barbara said, Pim, stay tuned. Share the live, stay tuned. Stay tuned. People are on the radar. And if this source is correct, then we can expect to see some action in the near future. Let me bring in Mr. Conway for him to make his comment on this, and then we're going to tell you something more about the same type of sanction arrangement. Yes, you see, this news, I told you about it at the last moment. Your take, my brother.
Before that, let me just backtrack because elections in the year. And let me talk a story about election. I was at the Felix Austin Police College of Larry. Larry Lewis was commissioner. I'm talking about 1992. You were running things in Georgetown. And Larry Lewis called me about 12 o'clock a day. And he said, look, I'm sending you to Barbies. I'm sending you the PPP stronghold. I want you to go and control things there. He said, and you could pass for an Indian. The fact what he told me is that the officer at Wim there, I think I can't call the name too. He named Sitaram. I think he was either ASP or a deputy soup. Jagan went to a public meeting at Rose Hall. And after the meeting, there are photographs with Jagan and Sitaram hugging up. And they transfer him immediately. And Larry Lou said, tomorrow morning, find yourself in Barbies. Me and Sitaram cross and the stelling. When I'm a Rosignal going across, he from me come across there. And I went up there and I in the PPP stronghold and I performed well. The PPP won. And the next thing you know, about 5 days after the PPP won, they send back Sitaram to Wim. Come back and say, Conway, they send me away. I come back, now you got to vote to me. So we had to return to Georgetown. Now coming back to...
Before you go on, let me tell you something about the same thing, because I remember, as I told you, 1992 was the officer in charge of TSU. Larry Lewis sent him there. He had to recruit, a batch of recruit from the training school, sent him to TSU with that batch of recruit. He came to TSU, I will never forget that, October the 5th, the days before and after, he was at TSU under me with a batch of recruits from the Barbies College. Carry on.
Yeah, I remember. Now, let me go back to the news that you give them. The now, always saying, always saying is that the hands that damage the Guyana police force, those hands cannot reform it. What's going to happen, and it's happening bit by bit, is that they got to be a lot of hemorrhage, a lot of bloodletting, bad blood got to drain out, and I ain't talking physically, bad blood got to drain that it got to be hemorrhage, and the hemorrhage got to start from the head coming down, and gradually things are happening. So I'm not surprised if with the news coming out there, and things are going to manifest themselves as we come closer to election. The hands that damage the force, those hands can't reform the force. And I'm repeating myself, they gotta be serious hemorrhage, bleeding and bleeding from the head. Things will happen.
Yeah, my brother. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree with you in terms of the reform thing. As I said long ago, for the police force to be reformed, you have to get rid of some of these people who are there. That's the only way you can reform the force. You can't reform the force. And let me call with Ikin there. Let me understand. The man has compromised himself. Apart from the fact that he has passed retirement age, he has not done anything that will give the members of the force confidence or the population as a whole. Even some of the very supporters of the PPP will tell you that again is bad for the force, and you cannot reform the force with him there. And I was talking to someone yesterday, and they said the conversation went along the lines that the PPP is not interested in reforming the Guyana police force because if they have a reformed force, this is a law enforcement officer from the US I was speaking to. Because if they have a reform force, then they can't intervene and give instruction will tell them who to lock up and who not to lock up. So then they're not interested in reforming the force. They can build us at a building and all them type of thing, which we will address maybe not today, some other time. But they're not interested in reforming the procedures and the behavior of the individuals. They're not interested in that. So like this sergeant with that rally and think nothing is going to happen. Nothing. But as I said, the little constable who showed some courtesy by shaking the hands of Azzuddin Mohammed when he alighted from the boat in Region 1 is immediately transferred because of that. Is immediately transferred. And coming back to the people who get arrested, I want to remind you all about some things. I'm going to play this video to remind you how Guyana is viewed overseas, especially since 2020 with all the drugs and all this stuff. Listen, look at this. Fish has one color. Just above the mouth.
So Guyana is on to catch a smuggler tonight. Someone has smuggled fish with cocaine in it, and the shipment came from Guyana, South America. I wonder which businessman these fish came from Guyana here. It's snapper from Guyana.
We've seen concealment in the past that's pretty crafty, fairly knowledgeable about the way fish are biologically and where the good areas are to hide. This is the best concealment we've seen overall, so it's definitely an organized group that has done their research and they figured out a way to try to slip it past us. We're already snaking. That's good. The fish are starting to defrost. It smells real bad. Hope it makes it easier for us to break them open and to retrieve the drugs that are inside. It's going to take us maybe 5 hours.
So this is a shipment of fish that came from Guyana, and it landed at Miami International Airport.
Yeah, you saw that. That's one of the problems. A lot of drugs. That video that you saw there, fish concealed. Drugs concealing fish. Maybe it's more fish than drugs. Maybe it's more drugs than fish concealed. That is what you have going out. Frequently. And talking about the breaking news with the sanction and all that, you have a situation where a senior police officer, I'm not sure, sanctioned by the US for drug trafficking. I got to emphasize that, sanctioned for drug trafficking. And what has happened? They did nothing. Then they claim that, let me give a little background. He was the commander of Region 1 when that large amount of cocaine was unearthed next to the airstrip. He was the man in charge there when that large thing. And what they did, following a report in the media that the commander was fingered in the drugs running, he was removed and brought to police headquarters, or removed and taken to police headquarters. Nothing else. They had him there at the transport workshop. We relieved a cadet officer. From that, they sent him, they attempted, well, not even attempt because he was there and then they rescinded it, to put him as a second in charge of operations in the police force. Listen to this carefully. That is what these people talking about reform. A man who had to be removed because of drugs in the area, he is put at the transport workshop, and then shortly after, he is ascended to the office of 2IC operations. And then there was an outcry, and then they came out and they lied, said that wasn't the case, and you had the evidence, the documents were there that he was put. Then they put him to the strategic unit or something like that, or special project, whatever they call it. They did nothing in relation to the allegation that he was involved in the drug trafficking in Region 1. They did absolutely nothing. Nothing they did not do. And this, I think, was in September last year when the drugs were unearthed there. Nothing they didn't do, apart from moving him. Right? Now, the U.S. sanctioned this same man, along with 3 other Guyanese and 2 Colombians, for drug trafficking, my students. He's sanctioned for drug trafficking. All they did then is that they said they put him on administrative leave. That is in November. They put him on administrative leave. And we say, well, how can you put this man on administrative leave? The only legal body to put him on administrative leave is the Police Service Commission. And by then, the life of the Police Service Commission had ended. The life of the Police Service Commission had ended. And then you know what they do? I want you all to listen to this carefully. You know what they did? Including the bishop, he must have been involved, who was the chairman of the Police Service Commission. They sent him a letter. They sent him a letter to say that he is on administrative leave. I think from the 30th of October or wherever. Can't remember the exact, not October, what was it? Maybe from the 30th of May or something like that. But you know what is said in the letter, the reason for him being sent on administrative leave? Nothing to do with the sanctions, so they come and tell you all this stupidness. They say that they're sending him on administrative leave to facilitate an investigation into the discovery of the 4+ tons of cocaine way back in September. So from September to May or whatever, they didn't do anything apart from just transferring him. When the U.S. intervened and sanctioned him for drug trafficking, they claimed that he was sent on administrative leave. But when they issue him the letter states that he has been sent on administrative leave to facilitate the investigation into the unearthing of 4.4 tons of cocaine in the region that he was the commander of. Nothing to do with the sanction, nothing to do. So they come and they tell you all sort of thing, they're jumping around and they're going to tell you all sort of crap. So they're encouraging these things, either directly or indirectly. Nothing. So if you hear, based on what the person said, more sanctions to come, I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised because I maintain that M. Not Shah, Senior Superintendent of Police, could not have done what he's alleged to have done alone. You got to ask other policemen, right at Babaruma, officers and other people. Names are called. You had a sergeant there who traveled to the U.S., Miami, and was detained and torn back. It was in the media. Sergeant arrested, detained and torn back, denied entry into the U.S. And they said they transfer him from Region 1, where he was, to the TSU or someplace then. And then I understand now he just away on the East Coast. A man who is alleged to be deeply involved. The man doing nothing. You gotta ask why. Why? You got a sergeant who is being alleged to be involved in drugs. More than one people. You have the same region 1, where 4.4 tons of cocaine discovered. And here, let me remind you too, that when it was discovered, the police weren't involved in the operation, you know. Police weren't involved. Was the Drug Enforcement Agency of the U.S., the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit, and the Guyana Defense Force Special Forces. The police, including the commissioner, were not involved. They were kept in the dark. And when the thing was unearthed, Robeson flew in there with some media people. They did not even carry police, operation man, shoot and scoot, special branch, Blanham, crime chief, Ikin, squatter, none of them and going. They took some media personnel to see the operation. Why? Why do you believe that? You got the police, whether you twist it or turn it, is a major law enforcement agency in the country. Can't escape that. And you have an operation which seems to have been spearheaded by the US to unearth, because they would have known that 4.4 tons of cocaine could not have come there in no one flight. It must have come with several flights, illegal airstrip and all that. Police claim that they know. The police know that all is applicability. The airstrip had to be built. Police know that this airstrip was built. Clean land. Pits had to be excavated. Police know that pits are being excavated. Cocaine stored and all of that. Nothing. Nothing. They know. And then when the bust took place, it was Kaitor News who carried the headline, said the police commander was fingered in this operation, in the drug smuggling. And what they do? They ship you out to there and they do nothing more. When the US sanctioned him now, along with others, then they claiming that he is sent on administrative leave. Not in relation to the sanctions. I want the US people to understand that. He's not sent on administrative leave in relation to the sanction that came down months after. According to what they're telling him, he's sent on administrative leave because of some investigation they're doing in relation to the cocaine. But what happened to all the other people, the subdivisional officers and others who are said to have been involved? What happened to them? They're still in position. They still remain there. Why? Why are they still there? Why are they still there? Because obviously, yeah, the commander uneasy lies there that weighs the crown. So he's the commander. You got to bear on whether he's directly involved, as the people claim, or not. He is the commander. He is the commander. But what happened to all the other persons there, the sergeants, and I'm using plural, more than one, who are alleged to be involved or were involved in this whole thing? They've been doing nothing. They are not doing anything. And they say about investigation. What investigation? What investigation? This cocaine was unearthed, uncovered since September, I think it was. So long ago, it was uncovered. You know nothing. When you sanction, you say, what is the position with the investigation? Blanham should be made to answer that. What is the position? CC, let me bring you in to talk about this thing. CC, your views, man.
Yeah, and I saw a copy of the letter, that I wrote to him. I think 2 paragraphs. One paragraph get, I think, 49 words, and it's basically saying, as a result of the, as a result of they said a recovery, that the recovery of 4.4 tons of cocaine, and a request made, you have been sent on administrative leave with effect from the 30th of May. Here is it, as a result of a request. I wonder who made a request. Was it the US made a request? Was it police made a request? Was it Home Affairs made a request for him to go on administrative leave? This is a police service commission. They get the authority to discipline, to appoint, to discipline, to remove all of office. And they send a request made for one of the persons under the jurisdiction to go on administrative leave. It happened in September, and he get a letter in May. And then persons, the OC there, get promoted at the last promotion. Other ranks there who were involved get promoted. The OC get promoted. And so there, sit on high and dry, still on administrative leave. Well, I ain't got no police service commission for deal with him. And there's another thing. This government isn't, they don't think strategically. They knew 3 years ago that the term of the police service commission would have finished in May. And it come and it finish, and I ain't get no service commission. So hard working ranks now, from inspector to assistant commissioner, cannot be promoted because they have no police service commission. But they saw floating about the place there, and give you a bluff letter, a little two sentence letter, and say you're on administrative leave. Total nonsense, ridiculous. And persons who the OC there get promoted. You there, you in charge of a subdivision, 4.4 tons of cocaine found there, and they promote you. It's the same thing happened with West Moraro last year, where the deadliest road, the road, the division got the most fatal accident, and they promote, they make the man run up best cop. And then last year, they promoted him from an ASP to a superintendent, jump a rank. So that's what they do, promoting incompetence.
Yeah, they're promoting that type of thing. Let me go into, somebody just reminded us, when we talk about deaths, you know, I forgot to mention, you had a situation where they reported that a traffic controller died in some traffic incident. I seen a traffic controller from the Chedijagan International Airport over the weekend died in a traffic incident. Allegations are being made about the circumstances which led to his death. And we ain't hearing nothing from them. We're not hearing anything. In terms of the deadly thing too, they said there was this, you know, a friend of mine said, I don't understand these releases that this give. Here what the release says, alleged double murder. This is the police corporate propaganda unit. Police are investigating an alleged double murder committed on Clifton Thomas, a 34-year-old male Amerindian farmer, and Sylvester Thomas, a 20-year-old male Amerindian farmer, both of Maikupara settlement village, the Tusheng village, which occurred on the 11th of July at Tusheng Creek, North Pacarimas. The suspect was identified as Kendall Joseph, named James, a male Amerindian, age and particulars unknown. But preliminary investigations, here they say, very important, preliminary investigation revealed that the deceased men and the suspect were imbibing when an argument ensued. During the altercation, the suspect allegedly stabbed the both victims, inflicted injuries that result in their death. He then made good his escape. Now, if you got to take what this man said, that you get evidence that this man stabbed these people, it's not a murder? I don't know. I am asking the question. They like use this word alleged. Like you tell about alleged fire. What alleged about that? It's a murder. If you want to say allegedly by someone, well, you know, murder, people get stabbed and they're dead. It's not suicide. It is murder. It's not no alleged murder. You might want to come to say that it was allegedly committed by this man and that man, or that person. Yeah, that is English language. But to tell me an alleged murder, when you say that this man stabbed them and they died, you saying so? You say, when you say preliminary investigation revealed that deceased men and suspect were imbibing when an argument ensued. Unit the altercation, the suspect allegedly stabbed both victims. So I don't know, English language is not a strong suit. English language is not a strong suit. What I'm saying is a murder. Just like with if you had a young thing, it is a murder. Let me understand this. Now, let me before I bring in Mr. Kawi, let me deal with this next one. Today is 1 week and a day. Kevin Lorimer was arrested last week Monday by the police at Linden on a commitment warrant from the magistrate. He was charged with fraud. He defrauded people hundreds of thousands of dollars when he collected money from them, claiming that he was in a position to get them outslot and all this everything. Reports were made to the police, investigation done. I suspect they would have gotten instructions for him to be charged. Instruction from the DPP for him to be charged. Because I ain't see nobody getting charged with fraud in this current climate. Well, no, with this current administration without the DPP pronouncing on it. So you get charged, fraud. I understand at the end of the day, he did not appear in court. The matter was tried behind his back. Ex parte, he was sentenced to 9 months in prison. And a commitment warrant was issued by the magistrate, committed him to the Lusignan prison from the 19th of June, 2025. The man was at Linden. This man, remember, this man is a PPP activist, strong supporter up on the social media, spreading PPP propaganda. Police had difficulty in arresting him. Whether they had difficulty because he was being evasive or whether they did not even make any attempt to arrest him. Not so clear. But eventually, last Monday, he was arrested. Monday afternoon. Remember, last Monday was CARICOM Day. And in any event, whether CARICOM Day or not, they arrested in the afternoon. You ain't got enough time to take him to the prison because that is what the warrant from the court would have commanded, for him to be taken to the prison. The next morning, what was last Tuesday morning, information is that they left from Linden, Mackenzie, to take Kevin Larimer to the Lusignan prison as instructed by the warrant, the magistrate. On the way to the prison, they receive a call on the telephone for them to abort the mission, to take Larimer back to Mackenzie. I understand up to now, the man still at Mackenzie. During the time, he claimed that he's sick, he got a problem. They took him to the hospital at Linden, and I transferred him to Georgetown. That's a picture with him in a wheelchair and all that. The point is, a commitment warrant has been issued for by the magistrate for Larimer. And the police are openly flouting the order of the court. They got no excuse, because even if Larimer is said to be sick, there's a matter for the Lusignan prison authorities to deal with, not the police. Police have no legal authority to keep Larimer wherever they have him, none whatsoever. They have no legal authority to keep him. They had no legal authority. The commitment warrant is issued, and as I said before, for the education of the young policemen and others. Just imagine, remember this was an ex parte trial, tried behind the back. The warrant issued. If he had been present and convicted and the same warrant was issued, all the police had to do from the court is straight to the lockup. The only time you keep a person in the station is if the mother finished late. For example, you finish late, Linden, if it's at Linden, you can't get enough time to take him to Lusignan before they close, because they don't take people all hours of the day. There's a certain time for him to be taken there. And if it is that it's late, you can't carry there, keep him. You have authority to keep him. You have justification for keeping him there until the first available opportunity, which is would have been Tuesday morning, since board wife awake. He should have been taken to Lusignan prison. But no, the politicians getting involved. I don't care what they say. Even if you want to make the argument that he likely to appeal, yeah, all the good as he right, he can appeal. But everything had to be directed to the prison, because that is where the order says he should be in the custody of the Lusignan prison authorities. And they talk about the rule of law. That's what I want to tell you. But there's no rule of law in Guyana. None whatsoever. No rule of law. It's an animal farm. All animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. He's sick, whether he's feigning illness or not, that's not for us to decide. He should have been, the prison authorities should have been dealing with that. He got there and he took in with whatever, prison authorities should be dealing with that. And it's a weakness on behalf of the commander and all these people, because as I've said to them, certain things you have to get, you have to know policing, because let me tell you this. The man was taken to, or he left to go to Lusignan prison on Tuesday. somebody call and say, turn back. Body by. Somehow my phone didn't work in. Somehow I would have been unable to reach the ranks who were on their way to the sick man. My phone would not work. My phone would not have been working during that period of time. When I understand that he is taken over by the prison authorities, maybe then I would have returned a call. But these people don't understand how to, because here, let me tell you this. Something happened to the man now is the police at Linden, you know, all them gonna duck out. All them, the politicians, the squatter, all them gonna duck out. Because they're gonna say that the commander is the commander, they arrest the man, and they're the ones who should have known what should be done. It is wrong. Nobody can command you or order you to carry out an unlawful order. It is wrong. And to openly flout the order of the court, that's contemptuous. And I have said I hope that somebody bring it up in the higher court that the police have been contemptuous of the same the magistrate order. Maybe I don't know if the magistrate, I don't know how the process is initiated. But something needs to be done so that we can understand that you can't do that. Every day they're doing things to make the police force sink lower and lower. Every day. They're attending rally. They're campaigning at police headquarters. They're refusing the order of the court. Every day they're doing things to make the force gets lower. It's difficult to imagine it getting lower than it is, but that is what they're doing. That is what they're doing. Let me bring in Mr. Conway. See, take some batting, man. Somebody tell me they like when I invite you to bat.
Okay. Now, the thing is, real contempt of court. Here it is, and we need to go over it. A commitment warrant issue for him, committed to the Lusignan prison. All right. They say he reports sick or he go in the wicked. He go to Wismar Hospital. They might admit him. So from Wismar Hospital, he ain't go back to Linden Police Station straight to Lusignan. Or better yet, they said they bring you to Georgetown. He wasn't admitted in the Georgetown Hospital. So all they had to do, instead of going south, go east. Lusignan and done with it. And then the command, the high command. I can't be a commander and then they're gonna call me and tell me, hey, I must disobey a court order. No way. The commander is weak. A lack of leadership. And right down the line, if he ain't do it, what about the man in charge of divisions? What about Watson about it? What is complicit? That he allowing the divisional commanders to disobey a court order, to be in contempt of court. He come right through down the line from the conform squatter right down the line. What is the man doing at Linden Police Station? We ain't say he lay down at Wismar Hospital. We ain't say he lay down in Georgetown Hospital. And even we lay down in hospital, as soon as the doctor finish with him, he must go to prison. He must, because he's a PPP activist. No way. Follow the rule of law. And then, you know, the police looking so bad. And then you, a divisional commander, you are in contempt of court, and you making the people below you give you an unlawful order, and you cannot the order. All of them should get trouble. Somebody should carry them to court for contempt of court.
Yeah, they're very contemptuous of the court order. Very, very contemptuous. I can tell you, in my day, even when there were occasions when a rank would fail to turn up in court, and the magistrate would issue an arrest warrant. But it was standard. One time the prosecutor or the court superintendent call and say an arrest warrant was issued for constable so. Go and get him. You have to go and arrest him. Go and arrest him. I remember in one case, I was commanding a division, and a young Indian policeman from Alberton Police Station, right, had to go to court, and I am there. He did not turn up, and an arrest warrant was issued for him. Because once an arrest warrant is issued for a policeman, the commander got to be informed immediately. So they informed me. And I told them, say, well, go and get him now. Go and get him and take him to court. They went and they discovered he was on duty outside office of the president. They were, at the time, demonstrations going on there. And he was there on duty. So when they told me, I said, well, let him come. They brought him to me, came to me. So I said, why were you not in court today? He said, sorry, he didn't know. Nobody informed him. He was on duty. They sent him to work. He reported duty at Albertown. They sent him to work, office of the president there. And he did not know that he had to go to court. And I was convinced that he was telling the truth. So I told them, take him to the magistrate and explain to the magistrate what transpired. They took him to the magistrate because in that case, the magistrate got to withdraw the warrant. But this particular magistrate decided he is not withdrawing the warrant. The man got to be remanded or some shit like that. They called me and they say, hey, bring the police back to me. And it's not, let me understand the difference here. They said, bring the police. And I sent a message to the magistrate. Said, once the person, this policeman did not know that he had to come to court. We got him. We took him before you. You have to recall the warrant because he's there. The warrant is for him to be arrested and taken to court. He was taken to court. So what you're telling me now what to remand? I say, if you want to remand, you got to do it yourself because we're not going to, that is not going to happen. I used to represent my ranks. The magistrate was wrong and later admitted that he was wrong. So let me understand how this thing works when you're a commander, not in condoning nonsense. Because in that case, if it is that he knew that he had to go to court and did not go to court, I would have dealt with him. Absent from duty, I would have clapped him for me. I would have dealt with him. But in this case, the man did not know that he had to go to court. He was convinced. The man was actually on duty at the time. He was on duty at the time. So let me understand what always it works. Now, you know, as I said, this place is not a real place. They gotta let me show you all this tape first. Y'all watch this tape, students. Watch this tape. This thing make my blood boil. It's a short tape, and I'll play it twice or so. Let's look at it carefully. Let me play it one more time. Now let me read the story. It's a short story. Chinese national arrested charged for assault of Bartica man. That way you see this now? Chinese nationals arrested and charged for assaulting Bartica man. Two Chinese nationals, they got a name, I ain't gonna put tongue for call the name, were arrested yesterday, Wednesday, July the 9th, and charged on Thursday for assault causing actually bodily harm committed on Jason James. The men both appeared at the Bartica Magistrate Court this morning before the magistrate there. They pleaded guilty and were fined $15,000 each or alternative in prison. Again, let me show you. This is the act. Two Chinese nationals beating up a Guyanese in Bartica. They are fined $15,000. They pleaded guilty. They are fined $15,000 or 2 weeks in prison. So what happened? These are Chinese nationals. Let me understand. Assault CABH is a conviction, it's a crime. Assault causing actual bodily harm is a crime. Right? It is recorded, or it should be recorded as a crime. In the stats, is a crime. Even though when they talk about serious crimes and so on, they don't or other crimes, they don't record things like assault CAB. There's a crime. Those men are convicted. They account to them, they are foreign nationals. You want to tell me they just pay this $1,500 and they're done at that? The immigration people are getting involved to get them out of the country. That is what is going to happen. And I am not being xenophobic or anything like that. But we saw the video there with your own eyes. And you want to tell me that, well, I don't know if the magistrate would have been privy to that. But the fact that we're talking about assault causing actual bodily harm, The fact that we're talking about the people being foreigners, $1,500, $15,000 fine. Students, y'all believe that is appropriate punishment for that act that we saw there? They should have been detained further in terms of their immigration status. And even if they're legally, the fact that they've been committed for crime, get rid of them. Right? One need to fill out the conviction form, the C6, I think it is. One need to do all of that. Again, I say that I suspect if Guyanese were involved in that against the Mati Guyanese, they would have treated them more sternly, more harshly. But two Chinese nationals kicking up a Guyanese man up on the road, defenseless man up on the road, they go plead guilty, fine $15,000, and that it is. Let me bring him Mr. Conway for him to have his view, says man. Yeah, CC.
Since I saw it, one word jump out of my head: deportation. Here's it: foreigner got convicted for a criminal offense, fined $15,000, and end of the matter. No way. They should start proceedings to deport them. And then sometimes if you check, sometimes they ain't getting illegally too. I mean, I don't hold anything against Chinese, but they may have been here illegally. And if they come legal and they get convicted, it's out the bloody country. Go along your way. And you make a very important point, Paul, because I know in our days as commando, all the disposed case jackets, person get convicted, jail, fine, otherwise, got to come to the commander. And apart from that, the conviction report form got to be in the jacket, the case jacket or the crime file. And you send it to the criminals record office for recording. This way they keep the database and person thing there, but you find a whole lot of persons get convictions. Some people get 10 convictions, but nothing is sent to the criminal records office. So when they apply for police clearance, you're seeing no trace. And there's no trace because nothing is sent to the criminal's records office. That's what should have gone. The conviction report should have gone ever since, if it ain't gone yet, to the criminal's record office, and they're saying those two Chinese, based on the facts and the circumstances, should have been somewhere in China by now.
Yeah, well, that's what you have, this animal farm story. That is what you have. Now, let me, as we close it in, I saw a letter in the newspaper recently, and I feel compelled to respond. I'm going to read a very short letter. It says, now that justice is served, an apology should be forthcoming. Now that justice is served, an apology should be forthcoming. Hear what it says. Dear editor, businessman Orrin Boston was shot dead by a member of the Guyana police force. We are told over and over that the killing was based upon racism, and much of the blame was placed at the government. Sadly, many people fell for this narrative, including me. A policeman was found guilty of the killing and sentenced to 25 years in prison. Now that justice has been served, will the lunatic fringe apologize to the government and the Guyanese people? Sincerely, Herbert Allen. Well, let me say this, Mr. Allen, if that is your correct name, right? Mr. Allen, if that is your correct name, you live in La La Land. Yes, a policeman was convicted. And we raised several issues which have not been addressed up to now when you talk about justice. Let me remind you all, let me run through this thing again. This man, this is a member of the Special Weapons and Tactics Team, the SWAT team. He went on duty from Georgetown to the Essequibo coast. He was under supervision. According to what was revealed in court, there were about 12 members of the SWAT team there under an officer, right? They broke down the people's door. All this is admitted in court. They used some ram, blammed down the door. The judge remarked, let me remind Mr. Allen, whoever he or she is, They say Orbot, but you know a lot of these people just come with a lot of fictitious name, right? The judge said that the action of the police, right, was unlawful. The judge said, let me read particularly what the judge said. The man handed down the decision in the High Court condemned the actions of Peters and his fellow officers. Let me read this to you, Mr. Allen, because like you missed this part. Justice Sandil Kissoon handed down the sentence of the High Court in Demerara, condemning the actions of Peters and his fellow officers as unlawful, reckless, and a gross abuse of state power. He goes on to say at some other stage that they did not have any warrant, right? They're going to this place. They had no warrant. They had no lawful authority to go into the building, to break down the man door and go in. The judge further remarked that he was fortunate not to have been charged with murder, right? So what apology are you talking about? What happened to the system which allows this to happen? And I want to remind you people that at the time when this incident occurred, the government, the PPP government, had a cabinet outreach on the Essequibo Coast. And RP, who was carrying out the functions of the commissioner, said that he did not dispatch the SWAT team to the Essequibo Coast. The man who was in charge of operation at the time, Clifton Ikin, up to now he can't talk. He hasn't said anything. So we have got to look, how did the SWAT team, under whose instruction did the SWAT team go to the Essequibo Coast? Under whose instruction did they go to source these places? Not one place, other places. And I mentioned it before, that Peters, as a member of the SWAT team, would not have been responsible for securing the search warrant. The SWAT team, I am sure, would not have identified those places for them to go and search. That had to have been the people in the division. They identified, search these places. SWAT team can carry out the search. No warrant, no lawful authority to get to this place. And this Aline, whoever he or she may be, telling you that the lunatic fringe apologized to the government. For what? For what? For killing another innocent man? For violating the Constitution again by going into the man's home, broke it down, knocked down the door all in the morning. That's the evidence that came out. Man lying naked in his bed. They broke down the door. The judge said he had no lawful authority to be there. So wait, we are not going to follow up on that? We're not going to follow up, Mr. Allen, to find out who sent them there. Because a clear violation of the man's constitutional rights. They went there. The judge said they had no lawful authority. They had no warrant. They had no justification. They used disproportionate force and all of that the judge said. So even if before you said the matter sub judice, now that these comments have been made by the judge, the government should get involved to make sure the people who are responsible for the team going there and the death of this man, not only the man who pulled the trigger, but the others who sent them there to unlawfully enter the man's home and end up killing the man. So I don't know what these people, this man talking about, but apology. But this is how these apologists just come out and talk a lot of crap. One man, yeah, he's the trigger man. But you think he get up just younger than you? Left Georgetown, where the SWAT team is based, and travel all the way to Essequibo Coast, identified these houses by himself, and went there with others and did what they did. You think he alone is responsible? He is responsible for pulling the trigger. But who ordered them to go there? Unlawfully, illegally. Who? Let me bring him, Mr. Conway. See, this when I read this thing, I said, another joker. All them that's coming, right? And we got to address these jokers, right? That's the only thing I can describe them. And perhaps we may say we have been disrespectful to jokers. What is what Alan, the name of the person, Orbert Allen. I don't know if it's the real name or some fictitious name used. But here he's saying that the French, I guess we are part of the French, should apologize to the government. That's what I say. Your take, my brother.
Certainly, that policeman who was convicted wasn't a lone wolf. Somebody had to send the SWAT team. Sometimes it's the government, for all you know. So I know the government will want to investigate itself. Sometimes the government, and when we look at parallels, always remember when me, Mark Gilbert, George Fraser, and Ivor Whitaker, when we were unlawfully arrested, taken to Brickdown police station for an offense that we did not commit, and a Carl Happy was performing the duties of the commissioner. Say, what about bail for us? Anytime you say you want us, we're going to come back. And he says, you see, this thing is political, boy. I can't do nothing about this. I can't say bail is political. And a politician, I have the records, said that he's going to call Karimbash and instruct him to send us on bail. And within 20 minutes after that conversation, two men from Karimbash office came and sent us on our own recognizance to attend court the next day. So I wouldn't be surprised if, Happy said he didn't send them, he can remain silent. I wouldn't be surprised if it was the government sent them. It was on the government orders that they went there. And then I said, he can't be here alone. There gotta be other offenses committed up apart from the manslaughter, which should have been murder. Malicious damage to property, they ram down the door. Endangering the life of children who they put out the house. Kill the man. The wife say he lay down sleeping naked skin. He didn't even have on a slack buckler. Naked skin, and then they shoot him and then kill him. And what me there is? What happened to the officer, the assistant superintendent who was in charge of those 12 men? He stand up on the road, he didn't go inside there. What happened to the corporal? What happened to the sergeant? What happened to the others? You telling me the thing was illegal, unlawful, as judge say, all kind of thing that you go in and search your house, you don't get a warrant, and you're breaking down people's house. I think and then you give one man, and he wasn't even represented in court. A one man, throw you under the train and on the bus, or right away train, throw you under, get crushed to death. You know, and there's a thing that happening there, where when you're taking illegal instructions, just like coming back to Larmo, illegal instructions passing all along the while. And then when you end up in trouble, they throw you under the bus.
Yeah, you said train. I know ordinary train. There is no passenger train. It's got to be a freight train. Let's show them on a freight train. But I want to, for Mr. Alien's sake, I hope he's listening or somebody can tell him. What the judge said, the question was asked. Let me tell you some things. The questions are still being asked. Question remain as to why the SWAT unit was at Dartmouth conducting the type of operation which is usually reserved for other law enforcement units. Police initially reported a confrontation occurred between Boston and the SWAT officer during the search, resulting in the shooting. However, that account was strongly disputed by Boston's wife, who maintained that her husband was unarmed while in bed. And for the student who asked him, how do you know is who shoot? That wasn't disputed. The fact that he shot was never disputed. The other policeman or policeman who was there with him says he shoot. I don't know if they provide ballistic evidence and all that. And then they claim that there was a confrontation. And I mentioned it here before. Let's be realistic. This man there in the house sleeping next to your wife. They claim that they broke down the door and entered the place. People come into your bedroom. Are you not within your right to confront them? For argument's sake, there's a confrontation to give where the man. Well, if people come into your house in the night, in the early morning, the wee hours in the morning, no identification as to who they are, You get up out of your sleep. You have a right to confront them. You have a right to confront whoever is. How you know it's police? How do you know that they are policemen who came there? Right? And the judge make the point again. I have it here. For Alan and the others like Alan, who according to one of the students, they don't have the comprehension. Reading and understanding is a difficult thing for many of them. They read, but they don't understand. Those who can read, because I suspect, and I strongly believe many of them can read, and definitely they can't comprehend, they get understanding. The judge said, the actions of Peters were unlawful, unreasonable, unjustified, disproportionate, and excessive. The resort to lethal force was without any basis against an unarmed man asleep in his bed. That is what the judge said. Unlawful, unreasonable, unjustified, disproportionate, and excessive. And this joker come with tell people they must apologize. French element must apologize. Now, we have come to we have a long morning. Again, we never were able to stream on Facebook today. A lot of people message me, want to know if the program is not on. I'm warning them a long time now. Gravitate to YouTube. I'm going to try to see if it can be resolved. I don't know what is the problem, why we weren't allowed to stream on Facebook, but not a single, let me check again, not a single student on Facebook, not a single one. Yeah, I got to, well, you are on YouTube, I know, but tell the others because they're going to call and they're going to ask. I'm going to post something on the page when I'm finished here to let them know that they should gravitate again because there was no streaming on Facebook today. Well, I'm bringing Mr. Conway for his closing remarks, and then I'm going to give you all your therapy. Don't fight. I'm going to bring him for his closing remarks, and then you're going to get your therapy. CC, your closing remarks, my brother.
Yeah, and just to reinforce, the use of firearm, principles governing the use of firearm. At the last episode, I talked about when you may fire, but this is the general principle. A, the use of firearm must be resorted to only when other means are found ineffective to deal with the situation. B, the degree of firearm use should not be more than necessary to deal effectively with the situation. C, whenever possible, warning must be given before using the firearm. D, when it has been decided to open fire, it must be borne in mind that the course of action should be punitive and should be preventive. Sorry, let me go for. When it has been decided to open fire, it must be borne in mind that the course of action should be preventive and not punitive. If it becomes necessary to open fire, such fire should be directed at the target and not over the target's head. And care must be taken to ensure, as far as practicable, that innocent persons are not hit. Fire must cease immediately after the desired effect has been accomplished. Fire must not be discharged at fugitive offender. So these are the general principles in the use of firearm, and you get when you may fire, another day maybe I might repeat it again. But I see you get double murder in the Pacaraimos. And I've been saying all the time, the commanders and the deputy from region and where there's where the Pacaraimo there. Then again Monkey Mountain, then again Orange, then again K2, then again in the Pacaraimos. Well, they catch a double more than now. And a lot of things gonna happen at Monkey Mountain, Orange, K2, and the Pacaraimos. It's over to them. And they're collecting money to go to those places. Understand people collecting money, spending out the money, but they ain't turning up, they ain't getting away. Perhaps they will go now with a double murder.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you very much. Folks, let me remind you all again this silly season. Let me remind you what GHK Lal said. So what we have today is not a government, but a gang of gangsters. For the most part, what Guyanese have for leaders today are nothing but out of control lunatics pathological liars, unreconstructed racists, and political sadists. That we have. I made an observation too. You know, with just about 49 to 50 days before elections, PV supposed to have their supporters in a particular section of New York. In previous run-up to elections, they would have been visiting quite frequently to energize the diaspora, the diaspora base. I noted with some, well, not concern, but I observed that since a certain minister over a year ago, remember there was a matter, I can talk about it on the next program, a year ago, traveled to New York, and it was reported that he was escorted and questioned, and then he get the liar for write a long thing. I can't recall any other minister, like the drive up the traveling to the U.S., then going to the U.S. They used to try frequently, you know. They have not traveled to the U.S. I wonder why. Wonder if it has anything to do with this breaking news we talked about earlier, where it has been said, for those of you who joined late, you know the breaking news that some man was arrested yesterday morning. Breaking news: former Guyana custom officer who was terminated from Guyana Revenue Authority under the AP and UFC government for corruption, was arrested at JFK International Airport this morning. That was yesterday morning, the 13th of July at 6:28 a.m. He traveled from Guyana to New York, and they said that he was arrested. We're going to hear, according to them, this is a developing story. We're going to see and we're going to hear what is happening. But I tell you all, GSK Lal said what we have today is not a government, but a gang of gangsters. Is that why many of them are not traveling any longer up north? Is that why? Because they are deemed to be a gang of gangsters? Folks, we're going to keep it. I can follow up this one. I am going to follow it up to let you know what is the position. I'm going to do my research to find out who is the GRA man that was dismissed under there might have been a few, but we're going to be able to do the work, man. We're going to do the work for you. All we ask you to do is to come on the live, share, and as the banner says at the bottom there, those of you who can make a little contribution, do so. Again, I want to thank all those who have been making contributions over the months, and encourage you all. You have the Zelle number there, the Cash App number, and the MMG number. Give whatever you can afford to give. I promise to pay you your therapy. I'm not going to disappoint you. So let me go into it right away to pay you your. Maybe you need a double dose of therapy this morning. Here we go.
Sit there and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Jurong?
Su? Oh, Su? My relationship? Nothing. He's a tenant in my place, yeah.
And he's a good friend of yours?
Yes, yes, he is a friend of ours.
He claims.
Yeah, I didn't even know it before then that this man is a landlord. You get tenant. And you know, again, this thing is so good. This is the man who sits there and he know all who is criminal. That investigation, that report by Vice News never investigated, which is alleged that the Vice President taking $500,000 from Chinese businessmen to facilitate business. Never investigated. It was never investigated until this day. Never investigated. And but that's what you have. And then when the people know who are criminal, right? Who are criminal. And you know, we're going to deal with that Wednesday because I get enough time to do some research. Because I understand that at the rally yesterday, PPP rally, Kitty Market Square, a large focus was on Azzuddin Mohammed. The focus is on Azzuddin Mohammed, and they're going to tell you that he is no threat to them. He's no threat to how it is, but you can focus on him. The talking about extradition, the talking. I tell you all, be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for. They're talking all of these things. A man who, according to them, is of no consequence, but yet they're doing that. I got word a while ago that on the East Bank somewhere there, people traveling to go to the nomination, they're just in the win, as in Mohammed party closed. Police are harassing them on the road in the vehicle. Police, that's what is just being reported, alleging. Police are harassing them. Again, police always in the mix for the wrong thing. For the wrong thing. Let me get out the next dose of therapy. Here we go.
You who are out there, if they come, we got to shoot and scoot. And shoot good and scoot. And keep shooting and scooting until help arrives.
Shoot and scoot. I met some people yesterday who were very amused by that. So I thought I'd play it today. And listen to this one. Don't forget this, Don't forget.
Bakewell. You know the bread people? She came to see me. Actually, all the staff she has now, all the people now baking Bakewell bread that you're eating are from Cuba. You didn't know that, let me tell you. All, actually. Our concern was, Minister, would I get into trouble because of the document issue? My position was, once you pay them and take advantage of them, trust me, you'll get into no trouble. Because we have to eat bread. You can't wait for the guy in his work who will not come to work. When they go and hang out with Vice Cartel, 2 days they lost. They not come back. They go and sport with Borman, right? You in trouble, no bread, gonna bake. I'm glad you all could laugh. I'm talking about what is real here.
Talking about what is real. Let's how the man describing black people. Joseph Hamilton, Minister of Labor, Pillory Joe, he is known as. That's how he described me. Can't wait to have a Barnaby, and Vibes Cartel. Who going to see them shows? Black people. Them black youths were there trying for bribe for vote for them. I'm going to talk about it some more on another program because I hear the president and them telling people, claiming that we're buying vote. Imagine the PPP getting the gall to accuse others of buying vote. We're going to talk about it on another program, man. Folks, we have had a long warning. Again, the YouTubers, thanks to your attendance, the Facebook cars have lost out big time, at least on the live. I suspect they're going to hustle and get to YouTube to see the program after. So, yeah, we have had a long morning. I promised we should have gone into some other stuff, but time ran out. I see, for example, the crime chief made a statement, which we're going to go through, saying that alcohol consumption among causes for crime in Guyana. The crime chief, Deputy Commissioner Branham, is alleged to have said that part of the cause of crime in Guyana is alcohol consumption. So everything is alcohol. You're driving is alcohol. Robberies, another serious crime, alcohol. That is what he's saying. Everything. So we're going to analyze this and talk about it on a future program. We have other stuff to talk about too. The Adriana Young. Don't forget, we tell you when we come for vote, when I go to the polling place at that time, when it comes, I will remember young Adriana Young. I will remember that they murdered her. And we're going to talk about this too because I saw a statement attributed to attorney Dr. Dexter Todd, which basically says that some international people are investigating. Time ran out this morning because we had to deal with some other issues. But I voted for Adriana Young, and I hope many of you will do likewise. She must get justice. She must get justice. The murderers, right? And the people who covering it up. Because people saying, oh, they want to know. I am convinced that they know who commit the murder. I am convinced that they know. That is why they don't want international investigation. Because they know who committed the murder. Folks, again, today is Monday. Hope you have a good week. We're going to, God Spare Life, we're going to come again on Wednesday at the usual time. I hope by then we're going to get the Facebook thing sorted out so that those people who, the Facebookers, can get the opportunity to see it live. We hope so. We're going to see what will happen. I really don't know what is the problem. I'll try to see if I can address it now, because they did say that maybe it should come out and come back in and all that. We're going to see what will happen. So God's Pray Live, Wednesday. Wednesday going to be what? Wednesday going to be the 16th. We're going to see you here on another episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. Until then, I encourage you to stay well. Dangerous place Guyana is. Stay well, especially in this silly season. Stay well until then. Bye.